Okay, welcome everybody. Daf Lamed Amud Beis on the bottom, one line, and Perek Hamishim, starting the fifth Perek. Lamed Amud Beis. Today's Daf is Lamed Aleph and one line on the previous page. So yesterday, Abnissan said it's a very hard Daf. Yeah. So he's right, but it's very easy if you don't read the words. But the way to Mefarshim, the difficulty is how do they see it into the words. The words are very difficult. But if it doesn't bother you, the words, the concepts are not so difficult. Concepts are easy. But the difficulty is how to read the words, and the Rishonim had to work hard how to fit the pshat into the words. But I think that if you don't, that doesn't bother you. So the concepts alone are not so difficult. The mission starts. So hektish. Okay, can't get the whole thing over here. Bishama say hektish tos hektish. So far, it has nothing to do with the zeros. We're in the middle of Mishnah Nazir. So it's really an introduction to the next Mishnah. If we had this once upon a time before, we talked about the Sheila ben the zeros. Could you be shown in the zero? Someone made a Nazir, then he goes to the Rav and he says, I didn't realize how hard it's going to be. Whatever the case might be, is very difficult. So you can be shown in there. That's you can be shown in the zeros. That's based on the principle that if you made a mistake, you made a nether by mistake, so it's not a nether. So now he's coming to say, I made a mistake. So on the zeros also, he says, I made a mistake. But if you hold that even if you made a mistake, it has effect, so then you wouldn't be able to be shown. And the Gemara says that Bishamai holds hektish b'tos hektish, and therefore, and the zeros also kind of hektish, and therefore it's not going to help to do this to be shown in the zeros because it can be shown on hektish. Hektish b'tos is a hektish. What does he say? I made a mistake. Doesn't help. Even if you made a mistake, it also takes effect. So this is the introduction to the next mission where it talks about if it's possible to be shown on the zeros, and it's all based on this issue of hektish b'tos. But for today, so far, we're just talking about hektish. We're not talking about the zeros yet. So here it goes. Bishamai says if someone is marked something by mistake, it still takes effect. Even though it was a mistake, he was under a false impression and he made something hektish, it still is hektish. Beis Hillel. Now I'm at Lamed Aleph from Aleph. Any mistake over here? Lamed Aleph from Aleph. Beis Hillel main hektish. Machlokes that according to Bishamai, if someone made hektish by mistake, it also takes effect, and Mishnah says not. It was a mistake, so it didn't mean it, then it doesn't take effect. Then the Mishnah is going to say 3 cases of the applications of the same Yisod. Kesad, what would be a machlokes case of Bishama Bisalam? So it's going to talk about 3 cases. One is about a shor shochor, with a shor lavan. Oh, let's say Yatsa lavan. Really, I should do the whole thing. This is going to be the whole. He said these words. The next case is going to be just jump around the second. He's going to say another case here about dinner zahav, sheyala biyada rishon, and kesef came. We'll see in a second. And the third case is going to be avishal yayin, sheyala biyada rishona, and it happened shem. Okay, 3 cases, 3 applications for the same case. Case that Omar Shah Shah Chashem Vese Rishon Arei Hektish. He said. We have to like the words, but the words seem to say the black ox, which is going to come out of my house first. That's going to be today's subject, what these words mean. The black ox that's going to come out of my house first is hektish. And then a white one came out. He said, the black ox, which is going to come out of my house first, is hektish. And then a white one came out. Bishamai says hektish. Beis says not hektish. Bishamai hektish. Beis hektish. Another case, similar case. Dinner of Shalom Yibir Rishon. The golden coin, the golden dinner, that's going to come out, that's going to come up in my hand first. He's going to put his hand into the bag, whatever, and the golden coin that's going to come out first is Hareu Hektish. And then a silver coin came out. A third case, he consecrated the barrel of wine that's going to come up first, and he took a barrel and it wasn't a wine, it was oil. Again, so in all these 3 cases, the Shammai says, even though I made a mistake, it's still hektish. Just to take a vote, when it says that the black ox that's going to come out first is hektish, and a white one came out, Beishamai says is hektish. Which one is hektish?
White one.
The white one. Any other votes?
What else could it be?
Well, it could be the black one that came out second.
Oh. I don't think so.
Why not?
But it sounds, that's it, the first one that came out. So it wasn't.
But he
black,
said,
it
but
was
he said,
white.
he said the black one that's going to.
That's what it
He,
sounds.
he said the black one that's coming out first. The first one was white, but the second one was black. Or so you could say, well, something's a mistake over here. Something. The first one is not black, and the second one is not first. But
So let's say the first three come out white, and then the fourth
Okay.
one comes out black,
So
so you wait till the fourth
it
one?
could be because he said the black one. The first, okay, could be, but that's going to be issues in the Gemara. When the Beishamai says that it is hektish, even though there's a mistake over here, does he mean to say that the white one is hektish even though it's not black? Or does he mean to say that the black one is hektish even though it's not first? So there's going to be an issue in the Gemara. And the same thing with all these cases, the gold and the silver, the wine and the oil. Beishamai says even though there's a mistake, still it's hektish. The Gemara starts. Beishamai yom hektish. Where does Beishamai get that even though it's a mistake, it's hektish? Tchilas hektish, we solve hektish. We learn out, be maktish something. That's what tchilas hektish means when you maktish something. When you consecrate something, it's called tchilas hektish. Solve hektish means something was already hektish, and now you're transferring the kedusha. That's called tamura. You know the din of tamura. You're not allowed to do tamura, but if you do it, it takes effect. That someone had an animal of hektish, and he had another animal of chuldan, and he said this should be like that. So it takes effect. You're not allowed to do it. Lo yomir. You're not allowed to do it. It's an avera, but if someone does it, it takes effect. And over there, it says even if it's a mistake. And that's a given. And the Gemara here doesn't tell us how you know, but the Rush brings down the Gemara in Tamura.
Isn't this what happened to?
You're talking about Yiftach. The Gemara.
Yeah, Yiftach, yeah.
Okay. It says here, Kedamina, how do you know it by Kumras, even if it's a
He
mistake?
didn't have any intention that it is
Right,
to do
right.
it.
David says, Yi al Rabba Shogeg Kimezid. So there is by Tamura, there's a drasha to say that even if it's a Shogeg, he made a mistake, still takes effect. So here also,
It sounds like Beit Shammai.
so that's what we're saying. Beishamai says he learns that hektish from Tamura. Everyone agrees by Tamura that will be the din. The question is by hektish. By Tamura, if he made a mistake and they think that he was being maktish, or the thing that was kodosh, or the thing he's putting it onto, and he made a mistake, he thought it was one thing and it was something else, it still takes effect. That everybody agrees to. And the question is, do you learn from there also to hektish? Beishamai says that you learn now to hektish from Tamura. Ma Tamura afilu betos, hektish afilu betos, just like Tamura takes effect even though there's a mistake. So also hektish takes effect even though there's a mistake. We still say ani mili Tamura avalachusi hektish betos lo machtin. That's only when it was very hektish. That it was a very hektish question is to make Tamura, to make something else hektish. But to bring down the kedusha the first time, achusi hektish means lahorid hektish. To bring down the kedusha should take effect. For the first time, you don't bring it down. It means it can't take effect, and you don't learn out from Tamura. You don't learn out tchilas hektish from self hektish. L'chorah, that's the end of the Gemara. We'll try to make the end of the Gemara over there. That was the first Gemara that spoke about what the reason of Beishamai is. Beishamai learns out from Tamura, and Beisol doesn't. Now Gemara's a kasha on Beishamai. Beishamai said that if you made this mistake, it takes effect. Let's assume, like Moshe said. No, 1 second. Yes, like Moshe said, that
First one.
the white one is hektish. I'm forgetting how we learned over here. Let's assume, no, that the black one that came out second. Let's assume that the Gemara's thought that Beishamai meant to say that the first black one that comes out. He said the first one that comes out, black. So and he says it's hektish. And the white one came out. So let's assume, I think that's what the Gemara is assuming, that the first black one that comes out is hektish. And the Gemara is asking, you have Yitmura, Hushaita, Ella Adamati Chatzi Hayom, who would have Yitmura, Achinami Lechim Galyam Milsa. All that is the kasha. Maybe we'll try to highlight it, that it should be the kasha. All this is the kasha. That. According to Beishamai, if somebody would say that I'm making something Tamura, Zetachazeh is the way you make Tamura. You have an animal of Chulin and you have an animal of Hektish, you say this should be like that. This should be in place of that. So, but let's say he said it should be in place of it in the afternoon at Chatzos. In the morning, he gets up and he says, this should be Tmura for that, midday. Does it happen before midday? Nothing, even if you hold that by mistakes, but there's no mistake.
Right.
He said, this is what he said.
Right.
Me have Tmura, does it become Tmura right away in the morning? Only only from Chatzos does it become, because that's what he said. Here too, only when it's going to be revealed, means only when it's going to happen. He said, what? So he said the black one that comes out first. And you're saying that when it comes out later, it's hektish.
No, the same thing here. The second animal that comes out, which happens to be the first black one, that's the Megalia Mills.
Maybe you're saying the answer already, but the Gemara thought that the Gemara's conscious, no matter what you want to say, the white one or the black one, the Gemara doesn't understand that he said those words. By Tmura, when you say that even though it's a mistake, it takes effect, that means that he said something, and we're going to fulfill his words, that what he said is going to take effect, even though he had a wrong impression that he meant something else. But what he said, at least what he said, we're going to make hektish. But over here, you're making hektish something that he didn't say. He never said that this white one should be hektish or the second black one should be hektish. You don't see in his words that he's saying this. So this has nothing to do with a mistake. A mistake means that because of a wrong impression, he said something, and we're going to say what you said takes effect even though he didn't mean it. But over here, when we're saying something is hektish, which he didn't say, so that has nothing to do with hektish betos. What was he makdish? The black one that comes out first.
First black shirt.
You're already saying the answer. You're saying a little bit of the answer already. The more understands that he said the first one, which is black. The first one, which is black. And the first one was not black.
No, but the lush is sheyetze.
The more things at this point, sheyetze. That's going to come out. The first shore that's going to come out, the black shore that's going to come out, and it's first, Rishon. And to say which one, whichever shot you want to say, I'm not sure if it depends on which shot you're going to say. Doesn't mean that we say that the white one. He didn't say the white one. He didn't say the white one. Let's take that. The Gemara thought that it's the white one. The Gemara is asking, how could you say that the white one is hektish? It wasn't makdish the white one. So it's nothing to do with hektish betos. Hektish betos means that he said something because of a false impression, and we say your words. You said something, even though it's a mistake, it takes effect. Like the person who wants to be sure, he wants to say, I made a mistake, I didn't realize it's so difficult. It doesn't make a difference. Even though if you made a mistake, you had a certain impression, you go with what you said, you don't go with what your mistake was. But here, the kasha is, how could you make the white one should be hektish? He never was makdish the white one. It's like he said, I want something to be tmura at midday. You don't make it hektish right away, only for what he said. So here, he didn't say the white one should be hektish. Amr Papa, l'kach nema rishon, l'kishayetze rishon. So the words are difficult. That's what I try to make akdama today, that the words are not going to be so easy to read. But the Papa seems to answer, according to the Rishonim, the answer is that it's the black one which is going to be hektish, not the white one. The white one came out first. The black one came out second. So the Papa says, we're not saying that the white one is hektish. They came out first. He didn't say that. You're right. He didn't say that. The one that's going to be hektish is going to be the black one that came out, even though it wasn't first. And that is fulfilling his words. The kasha is for shor shachar kama, and that's to highlight it a little bit in order to get the answer. This was Amra Papa. This was the answer. What?
It's not the other way around.
The kishayetze rishon. So what do the words mean?
That's the white one.
No.
He wasn't talking about it.
So I don't think so. Let's just maybe the other way to read the Gemara, but I'm just going to read it one way. The next kasha is going to be, this is a kasha. As I went out, this was a mistake. 1 second, please. I didn't have time to highlight today.
All time, the green's always answers and the red's always kasha.
Right. Kasha there. That seems to be we try to do that color system.
Okay.
And the one's going to answer over here. So the Morris question was that how could you make the white one hektish? She didn't say that. The Papa says that he meant the first black one. They weren't asked on that. He said the black one, which means, though, are we not talking about that it only has one black one? If he only has one black one, then it wouldn't make sense that he should say the first black one. There's only one black one. If there's only one black one, and he went to say the black one, so he shouldn't have said the black one which comes out first. Because there is only one black one.
Right.
Since he said the first, it must mean that he's talking about only if it came out first.
Only if the black one came out first.
And if it came out second,
Then
there's no reason to say the first. If he meant the black one, even if it comes out second, and there is no other black one, so there's no sense in him saying the first black one. There is only one black one. He must have meant only if it comes out first. The more he answers, let's read this late train klasa. The case is that there are a couple of black ones. So what he meant to say is the first black one. Again, he has in his house, in his barn over there, he has blacks and whites. And he said the black one which comes out first. So don't take it to mean only if it came out first. And if a white one came out first, so we're not gonna say that the black one which came out later is hektish. No, he meant to say the first black one, because there are many black ones. So the fact that a white one came out first, that doesn't stop it, because he meant the first black one. So the first of the blacks that come out is hektish. And that's what he meant to say.
Or if you only had one cow.
If you only had one cow and he said the first black one, then he didn't mean if it came out second. Then it wouldn't be hektish, maybe. Or maybe the white one would be hektish, but that he also didn't say.
Right.
That would be the problems. So Papa's trying to say, I think, or Papa's saying, that we're interpreting him to mean the first of the black cows, even though they are white cows. If it, white cow comes first, doesn't make a difference. He said the first of the blacks. There are 2 or 3 black ones, and he said the first of the black ones.
it's gonna be kind of.
So that should be the one should be Kaddish, the first of the blacks. And even though a white one came out first, the black one is still Kaddish. According to this, and one more line, and Basil doesn't like that. Basil says in Cain, she ate a bari show me boiling. The words, I don't get the grammar so much, but he says if it would have meant that, he should have said the one that's going to come out Borishon. The fact that he said she ate a Rishon, Basil says it doesn't mean that, it means it has to go out first. And if it didn't come out first, it's not hektish. That's what Papa's pshat. So far, according to this pshat, has nothing really to do with hektish patos. It's not hektish patos. Hektish patos, we said, means that he said something under the wrong impression, and it's hektish anyway, even though I had the wrong impression. According to where Papa's explaining, it's nothing to do with the wrong impression. We're just interpreting him that that's what he meant. He said the first black shore, so Papa says it means the first black shore of the other black ones, but not that it has to be the first one coming out, even if a white one came out anyway. So it has nothing to do with the hektish patos. The Mishnah. The Gemara is going to ask right away that it doesn't say, it says the Mishnah introduced that this whole case is called Hektish Patos. The Mishnah started, as we said, the name of the parak is called Beishamai. How does it go? Beishamai Yom, Hektish Patos Hektish. And according to what Papa just explained, it has nothing to do with Hektish Patos Hektish. It has to do with that, even though he said the first black one, he meant not that it comes out first, the first of the blacks. So it's nothing to do with Hektish Patos. So how does it fit into the Mishnah? This sounds very nice, but it doesn't say in the words. That's the Gemara's kasha. Amalei Rava mi Barnish L'Rav Ashi. Hi hektish b'tosu. Is this a case of hektish by mistake? Hektish b'kavanahu. It's an intentional hektish. But that's explained. That's what he meant. We're interpreting his words, but we're not saying there's any mistake over here. The answer is we should because we're changing a little bit what the words might have meant. Means he's saying that the words that you took me to mean, I said the black ox, which is going to come out first, and I'm saying it means the first black ox. So that's a little bit not in the words. So you make a mistake and think that that's what the words meant. That has to be the first one. So explaining it doesn't mean that. But really it's nothing to do with hektish patos. It's not hektish patos. It isn't a mistake under his impression. We're just saying that that's what he meant. He said the black ox which comes out first, And we say it means the first black ox of the other oxen that are there, even though a white one came out first, that's not his issue. He doesn't care that it should come out first. He wants the first of the black. So this is the Papa's Pshat in our Mishnah. And it's nothing to do with Hektish Betos. The Gemara says, what are you saying? That the Shammai does not hold Hektish Betos is Hektish. Means if you're changing our Mishnah, so there's no such Mishnah that says Hektish Betos is Hektish. It just means that the term means something else. Here the term means that even though the words mean to mean one thing, it doesn't mean that. It means something else. It has nothing to do with Hektish Betos. Is that true? You want to say Beishamai does not hold it as Yisod? Hektish Betos is Hektish. Continue the Mishnah. The Gemara really is a much stronger question, because the whole reason why this Mishnah comes in is because of the next Mishnah that we introduced. The reason why this Mishnah comes in, we're learning Nazir now. What does it have to do with Hektish Betos? Because the next Mishnah is going to say, based on this machlokes, could he be shown on the zeros? If you hold Hektish Betos as Hektish, the Mishnah is going to continue that you can't be shown on the zeros, because what do you say? That I didn't mean it. Even if you didn't mean it, the zeros is like Hektish, and even if you didn't mean it, it takes effect. And that's what the Gemara's Kash is. It says in the next Mishnah, but in the next Mishnah, if somebody made a neder of Nazirus, and then he went to the Chacham to be shown Nazirus, to say that he didn't mean it under the circumstances, even if he had an animal which is designated for his Nazirus, he go put it back into the chulin, put it back into the flock. It's chulin, nothing took effect. Like we know that a Hataras Nadorim retroactively goes off. So even though he designated this animal for Nazirus, he never was a Nazir. So this has some. So here Beisil jumps on Beishamai and says, "Don't you agree to this?" So if you see that you could be shown on Nazirus, so you should. That shows Hektish Betos is not a Hektish. If Hektish Betos is Hektish, you should be able to be shown on Nazirus. This is all the Mishnah. Hektish Betos who? Don't you see that this is? Wouldn't you say this is a case of Hektish Betos? And here it says that it's nothing. That it goes, it can go back into the flock. It's chulin, and you see that the mistake. We say, oh, it was a mistake. It's not a Hektish. So it's against you. So don't you see in this machlokes Beishamai Beis Hillel in the next Mishnah that Beis Hillel was accusing Beishamai of holding Hektish Betos as Hektish? Kipshuto. And our Mishnah, you want to read our Mishnah doesn't mean that. You want to read that our Mishnah means we're just reinterpreting his words. But the Mishnah coming up is going to say that Beishamai holds Hektish Betos Hektish. The Cloud. Yisabi Beishamai Hektish Betos Savi Hektish. And the next Mishnah you see that Beis Hillel understood from Beishamai Hektish Betos is Hektish, and that's why he's asking. So how come you can be shown on the zeros? So the Gemara says, no, still don't give in. Beis Hillel the Koto. It's Beis Hillel's mistake. Beis Hillel misunderstood Beishamai. They thought when Beishamai says Hektish Betos is Hektish, they meant making a mistake under the false impression. So they said, Beis Hillel made a mistake in understanding Beishamai. Sorry, they thought they thought that Beishamai means to say that Hektish under a wrong impression is Hektish, and that's why they asked them the kasha. And that you see that you can be shown on the zeros. That means the Hektish Betos is not Hektish. And Beishamai said we didn't mean to say that. No, we don't know that Hektish is Hektish. He's just saying that my first words didn't mean that. You misunderstood my first words. When I said the first shirt is going to come out black, I didn't mean the first come out first. I meant the first of the black, but not that it has to be the first one. If a white one came out first, it doesn't make a difference. But so far the Gemara is saying that Beishamai might hold Hektish Betos is not Hektish. Just this case where we're reinterpreting his words. But if he would have made a Hektish under a false impression, maybe it's not Hektish. But the Gemara says, no, you're making a mistake. Beishamai, the Farish holds Hektish Betos is Hektish. Beishamai Hektish Betos not be Hektish. You still want to keep to your opinion. Beishamai holds Hektish Betos is not Hektish. Tashma, people were going on the road and they made a bet. And somebody's wrong. Somebody was coming towards them and he looked with long hair. I'm sorry, not long hair. The question who it was. They're going down the street and they saw somebody. He said, I think that it's Mr. Greenstein. He says, no, that's not Mr. Greenstein. He said, so they had a bet. If it's Mr. Greenstein, I'm a Nazir. He said, no, it's not Mr. Greenstein, I'm a Nazir. They made a bet. And whoever the betting, who it is. And another one said, and then there's a third one over there. He said, I'm a Nazir, that one of you is a Nazir. Means one of which is one of you is a Nazir. Another one said, that neither of you are a Nazir. I'm going to be a Nazir, I bet. Or Sheshnechem Nazirim. What?
Mr. Schwartz.
Sheshnechem, both of you are Nazirim. Or Shekulchem Nazirim. everybody, all of the above. All these cases, we'll get to more details later on. But in all these cases, it says now. Of course, somebody was wrong over there, right?
Of course.
Beishamai Omrim Kulam Nazirim. Even the one who was right, whatever, he shouldn't be a Nazir, whatever the case was, they made a bet he is, made a bet that he's not. But means Beishamai says, even though there's a mistake, you're a Nazir. If he said I'm a Nazir under a certain impression and you were wrong, you're still a Nazir. So here's a case where it says Beishamai holds, even though there's a mistake, you become a Nazir. So how could you try to push away our Mishnah and say that our Mishnah doesn't mean that, and Beishamai doesn't hold Hektish B'Tos as Hektish? He says Ferish, Hektish B'Tos is Hektish. Amri, you're right. Savi Beishamai Hektish B'Tos Eved. You're right. But Hachalo, but that's not Shalom our Mishnah. The first case, well, the problem of our Mishnah is that all these examples don't fit, don't make sense with Hektish B'Tos. Beishamai started saying Hektish B'Tos is Hektish, but still says not. And then it says Kate, it says three examples, one about a black and a white shore, one about gold and silver, one about wine and oil. And all these cases, the Gemara's kasha was, it's not a case of Hektish B'Tos, because it isn't that you made something Hektish by mistake. You didn't make this Hektish. You said the black shore that comes out first, and you're going to say that the white shore is Hektish.
No,
It never made that Hektish. Or the case of the gold and the silver, you're going to say that the silver is Hektish. You never said silver. You said gold. All these kashas are, that's not a case of a mistake.
It's not a mistake, it's an interpretation.
Elamai, the pshat is going to be, because of this kasha, Papa explains that the case means the first black ox, the first golden coin, the first barrel of wine. Not that has to be the first one of the ones that I pick out. There could be white cows that come, 10 white cows come out first, but the first of the black that comes out. So it's not anything to do with a mistake. It's just reinterpreting his words.
Even if there's only one black.
No, it's only one. That the Gemara said it's only one. There's no reason to say first because only one.
It has to be. There's more than one.
And that's how people want to learn the Mishnah. It has nothing to do with the case of Hektish B'Tos. There is other Mishnahs about Hektish B'Tos. You're right. Beishamai would hold Hektish B'Tos also. When you made a nether under a certain impression, you're right. Beishamai will say that it takes effect even though you had the wrong impression. But that's not the case of our Mishnah. Our Mishnah, he didn't say those things. He made one thing Hektish. You can't say that something else is Hektish. So that's why Papa learns our Mishnah has nothing to do with a mistake, with a mistake. It has to do with just reinterpreting his words. All this was a Papa's pshat. And now goes another pshat, Abaya Amar. So Abaya is going to learn that the white shore is Hektish, which is what Moshe said originally, that he said the black shore that comes out first is going to be Hektish, and a white one came out. Abaya is going to say that the white one is Hektish. How's that? But the kasha was, how could that be? Because he didn't say that. So the more explains. Abaya Amar, this is going to be a new terrace now. Abaya Amar. The case is not that he's standing in the morning. The morning is another way of saying before it happens, and the afternoon is saying after it happens. We thought till now that he's standing in the morning and he says the first shore that's going to go out, sheyetze, shore rishon sheyetze. Yetze means in the future, the first one that's going to come out. So then you can talk about. Then he surely meant to say what he wants to be makdish. Let's just read the other side. The case is the Korban Tiyah is in the afternoon. Tiyah means by the afternoon or noon. What?
Rush the Sarayim.
Right. The Gemara in Brachas Daf Beis over there says it. The black shot that went out in past tense. I think that the shot of the Gemara is that when a person says, they wasn't going to say that. Let's talk about the past tense. He says that the black shore that went out first should be Hektish. And they told him, Rabbi Yid, you should know that this morning, the first one that came out was a white one. A white one came out first. So he said, okay, so that doesn't make a difference. So I wouldn't have said the black one. I wanted the first one should come out. I thought that was a black one. Usually the black one, he knows his cows. Usually the black ones get up early. They're the more aggressive ones, they leave first. So I said the black one that comes out first because I thought that is a black one getting out first. But he said that it's a white one, so it's a white one. That's the one that should be Hektish. And that's the case that's called Hektish B'Tos. That he had an impression that it's going to black one when it went out first. And then we told him no, it was a white one. So in that case, the white one is Hektish. And that's called Hektish B'Tos. But still says no, that even though you say now that you didn't make a difference to you, but when you said it, you said the black one. So it's not Hektish. Beishamai holds, even though you made a mistake, it's still Hektish. So Abai is happy to say that it was a mistake. Be the Mishnah Kipshuto, that was a mistake. he said the first black ox that comes out, the black ox that comes out that comes out first, but not comes out first, that came out first. Now, what's the difference if it came out or what's going to come out? So I think the pshat is that a person knows that he's not a prophet. He knows that he doesn't know what's going to come out first. So he can't say the first one is going to be black. How do you know? You don't know. So over there, there's more svara that he meant to say he's coming to be magdir. What he wants to be what he wants to be makdish. He wants to be makdish the first one. But and he can't say, oh, so what's the difference? So a different one went out. You said something. So therefore, we have to interpret him. Either he meant to say dafka the first one, or he meant the first one of the blacks. But he's coming to define what he wants to be makdish. But in the past tense, it could be that he had an impression what happened already. It doesn't have to be a prophet to say what happened. You have to be a prophet to say what's going to happen, and everyone knows they're not prophets. So when he says what's going to be, then he's coming to say what I want to be makdish. When he's coming to say what happened already, it could be that he's not coming to say what I'm being makdish. He's coming to say what I think. I was under the impression that the black one came out first. Made a mistake. I made a mistake. It wasn't my. The reason why I said black is because I thought that black came out. But to say what's gonna happen, everyone knows that they don't know what's gonna happen. So he must be coming to say what he wants to be makdish. So Abai, in order to say this pshat, that the black or the white doesn't make a difference to him and it's a mistake, is because it's in the past tense. It's happened already. So then he could say, I said the black because I thought that it was black. But if it's white, so it's white. I meant to say the first one. But in order to say this pshat, he has to say that it's not talking about the future, it's talking about the past. And according to this, it goes back to the regular pshat of hektish betos. The old Gemara's kasha was that how could he say something is hektish if he wasn't makdish then? He says the first black one that comes out, and he say the white one is hektish. He didn't say that. He said the black one only. And you can't say over there that he just meant, oh, it doesn't make a difference to me, because since that's what he was makdish. But over here, that he's coming to say the past, you could say that he just is saying what he thought. He thought that the last one, that the black one came out first. And if he say that I made a mistake, okay, so I made a mistake. And that's why Beishamai says that even though it's a mistake, it's still hektish. How do you see the words? It's not talking about that he got up in the morning before it happened and he said the black one that's going to come out. He's talking about that this man is standing now in the afternoon, by noon. The one that came out in the morning, which happened to be black, should be hektish. What should be hektish? What?
Black or white? But he said black.
He said black. And they told him, Lava Nafak. You should know this morning a white one came out first. So he told them, if I would have known that a white one came out, I wouldn't have said black, I would have said white. And that's called a mistake. And Beishamai says that it's hektish, Beishamai says that it's not. The Gemara says, it doesn't sound like that in the Mishnah. By Yotze and Yetze, there's no vowels in the Mishnah. There's no nekudos. It doesn't say Yotze, it doesn't say Yetze. It just says Yud Tzadi Aleph. So you can read it both ways. But by the other two cases of the gold and the wine, the same Mishnah is talking about in the afternoon after it happened. The word sheyale is future. It's not a question of nekudos over there. This question of the word. Yala means it's going to get up. So the Gemara says Tanisha Allah. So change it, take out the yud, and she read Allah. That went up. It went already. It's in the past. And the next kasha Chavishal Yain Shatala. It also says future. No, also Tanisha also change it. It means it did. So Rav Abai got through the Mishnah to explain that the Taka arguing about hektish betos. It is hektish betos. The first chapter of Papa said the Amish is not talking hektish betos. Amish is talking about reinterpreting what he meant to say, and that's what he meant. He just didn't understand. You thought it meant the first show means the first black show, that before the other black show. And Abai says we are talking about hektish betos, and he thought that a black one came out, and they told him that a white one came out, and fine. And he says it's also, and even though it's a mistake, Beishamai says it's hektish, but still says no. We finished.
That's a baya against
a papa, right? Two pshatim in the Mishnah, and as soon as you start the Mishnah, we just threw out the question: which one is hektish according to Beishamai? And Moshe said, like Abaye, that the white one is hektish, but Abaye himself also only accepted this pshat if he's going to say that it happened already, not that it's going to happen. If he says the black one is going to come out, the first black ones are going to come out, you can't say the white one. Beishamai wouldn't say the white one is hektish because he never said that. And even if he's all hektish betos is hektish, you have to at least have said it. He didn't say it. Ended that Gemara. Almost back ended that Gemara. The Gemara is going to still have a problem with this pshat. Amrav Chisda. Uchma b'chivra lakya. So they take out the next words. We'll take it out. Uchma means black. Chivra means white. A black in the white is considered a deficiency. And the pshat that they say is that the same way we say, let's say a black sheep, like, no, it's not the regular one, it's considered a deficiency. So here, a black cow amongst white cows is considered a deficiency. At Kitzer, he says that black cows are not as good as white cows. That's what the Gemara wants to get out of Chisda. Lakia is considered smitten. It brings down everything. It's a deficiency. It's a deficiency. A black cow amongst white cows is a deficiency. And it doesn't only mean because it's different, it means because it's black. Black is not as good as white. The black cows are not as good as white cows. That was a
It's not with its own breed.
So it seems not. Then it wouldn't have the rest of the Gemara wouldn't make sense then, it seems. The Gemara has to do with which one is a better kind of a cow. The next was, we took it out, Chibra Buch, Malakia, or the Kusa, over the Girsa. Over there, something else. Over there, it's talking about if it has a spot.
Was that the cows in the dream, of Yosef's dream, Parah's dream?
What about it?
Lakia, then that Lashon used for the lean cows.
You said they were
Maybe
white
in the
and black.
Aramaic, you're talking about the Targum, maybe. Maybe the Targum. Or something, but that's not our subject. We just need the beginning. The beginning means that a white cow is not as good as a black cow is not as good as a white cow. Okay, now Gemara asked the kasha from our Mishnah, and they explain our Mishnah according to Abayis Pshat. According to Abayis Pshat, what happened over here? He said the black cow that came out first this morning should be hektish. And they told him it was a white cow. So he says, okay, so the white cow should be hektish. It means it doesn't make a difference to him, and that's considered hektish b'toros, and it's considered hektish. And the Gemara's kasha, let's say, give you a preview. The Gemara's kasha is going to be, if a white cow is better than a black cow, so how could he say that he meant that also? It's something which is much better. He said it was makdish a black cow, and then they say that a white cow, and he says, okay, so
Maybe
white cow.
it had an ein sorry, didn't want to give the best one.
And that's what the Gemara has now a klal. It's called Ein Ra Makdish. It's very nice. Ein Ra Makdish, Ein Yafa Makdish. When a person is Makdish, does he do it with a generosity or does he do it with a stinginess? He's being Makdish, but he does a minimum. So the Gemara is assuming that when a person is Makdish, he does a minimum. He's not doing it over generously. And therefore, the Gemara's kasha is going to be, if you say that a black cow is a lesser quality than a white cow, and he said, I'm being Makdish a black cow, and then they tell him it was a white cow, and he says, okay, it's not true. A person, when he's Makdish a black cow, that means he's only doing a lower grade. That's the Gemara's kasha on Rav Chisda.
Maybe the tshuva.
Let's see. Tanan. Shachash Yasami Beisi Rishon Hektish. And with the Bai's explanation, it meant which went out. Shiyotza Mi Beisi Rishon Hektish. And then they tell him it was white, and he says, okay, so the white one, and Bishamai says it's Hektish. Our assumption is, more is assuming when a person is Makdish, he does it with a stingy eye. Bami Bishamai have a Hektish. Bishamai says that is Hektish. And the only problem is because it was a mistake. But as far as believing him, we could believe him. And the kasha is that if it's a better quality, then you can't say I would have done it anyway. I meant it also. You didn't mean it because it's a much higher quality. So what is it? So in order to get out of this kasha, it wouldn't be so difficult. We could say that people are makdish, they do it generous, and therefore if it's better, yeah, you could have meant the white one because people when they're makdish with ayin yafa. What do you want to say? No, to answer this kasha. You might be able to get out of the first kasha by saying that a person when he's makdish, he does do it with generosity, and therefore we do believe him to say that even though I thought it was black, but if it's white, it's just as good. I'm happy to give another $100 to hektish. So even though the white one is worth more, and I said a black one, it's per se that that's fine. So if in order to learn the Mishnah with Rav Chisda, you'll have to say that a person is makdish b'ayin yafa. But the problem is going to be the next case of the Mishnah is not going to work. We had in our Mishnah 3 cases: the case of the cow, black and white, and gold and silver, and wine and oil. So the case of the black cow and the white cow, first the Gemara thought that the white is deficient, is superior,
Right.
and the Chisda says that's deficient. If it's deficient, you have to say that the white one is better. And even though he says, "Oh, you makdish a white one," yeah, it's fine. Ayin yafa. But the next case is going to be difficult because over there he said the golden coin that's going to come first, and then a silver coin comes, and he says that's hektish, but is hektish, and the silver coin is hektish according to Abayis Pshat, and that's not true. You don't even makdish something which is deficient. You wanted the better one. Gold. Everyone holds gold is better than silver. So by black and white cow, you can talk about it, but by gold and silver, you surely can't talk about it. And over there,
could be a problem.
He said gold, and then he says the gold one which came out first in this morning out of the pouch. the first golden coin, the golden coin that came out first is hektish. And then he told him the first one was a silver one. So he said, okay, that's good. But you can't say that because he wants to be makdish generously. And if he first said gold, he didn't mean silver, he meant gold. Manavshach, do you say bayin yafo bayin ra? Here's the kasha. It says in the case, it says in the Mishnah, which says so why should he say that? If you say a person does it with a generosity, so then if it came out a silver one, he didn't mean that. He meant gold, and now it came out silver. So what are you going to do? So really, Gemara can say back and forth. You have to say if the gold and silver, gold is better than silver. So by the black and the white is better than the white. That's the order of the Mishnah. That's what we say. But the Gemara, for a second, goes further. There's a third case also. We are going to come back to the first kasha. It means bonavshach. By the case of the gold, surely the gold is more than the silver. And by the black and white, according to the higayon of the Mishnah, the logic of the Mishnah, now saying that it's the ayin
Ra.
Ra, which we proved from the gold and the silver. You see, from there you see that a person is buying Ra makdish. So go back to the beginning of the Mishnah with the black and the white. You see that the white is less than the black. But the Gemara tries the third case also to bring in the third one as a raya. Velamai buying Ra makdish. The third case, how about the third case? Wine and oil. Which one is more expensive? Which one is wine or oil?
Why?
Not necessarily.
No.
A liter of wine and a liter of oil?
Today, wine is more expensive.
It depends.
Oil, Shams, I used to get 30 shekels a bottle, and no charge against 18
Yeah,
shekels.
well, it wasn't like that before.
Yeah, now
they bring it
a
from
good wine,
Europe.
you're not gonna get for less than 50. But a nice bottle of wine is 50 shekels.
By the Gemara has that oil is more expensive.
Yeah.
So the Gemara is asking, how about this case? We're going to say, according to the Bible, saying all these things is Allah. The standard was that oil was more expensive than wine. So if you're saying they're buying raw makdish, and then he thought that it was wine, and now they tell him that it was oil, then he says, okay, fine also. But if you say buying raw makdish, he can't say, we don't believe him to say that he would have done that also. He said wine, and now oil came out, and he said that also. But here also you see the ayin yafa makdish. The Gemara is asking a contradiction from the middle case of the gold and the silver. Surely the silver is less than the gold.
Right.
In order to say that he meant that, you have to say ayin ra makdish. And the cases, the first case, that's what we're talking about. The case of the black and the white, which is that's one which is on trial now. Is if Chisda right? If Chisda had an opinion. If Chisda said black is less than the white. But by the gold, you see that the gold is more. And according to the say the higayon of the Mishnah, it should come out that he first had a black one and then it comes out a white one. If according to the Mishnah ba'ayin ra makdish,
And then it wouldn't work.
he shouldn't have been hektish by the white one.
Right.
The more tries by the wine and the oil, the more thinks the same thing, that the wine and the oil is
more valuable.
more expensive. So that the Gemara says, that wouldn't bother us because not necessarily is all oil more expensive than wine in all places. In the Galil over there, oil is cheap, wine is more expensive, and you can learn that one which is the ayin yafa will be the wine. And when he says, I first said wine, and then it came out oil, and he says also that's also called ayin ra. That could be the same as the gold and the silver. The gold and the silver, and the gold and the wine and the oil could be the same parallel. That the wine is more than the.
In some
In
cases.
the case in the Mishnah, we're talking about a case where the wine is more than the oil. But back to the kasha, but Reisha kasha we have Chisda. The Reisha is still a kasha because both of the Mishnahs we're gonna have to learn the gold is more than the silver, the wine is more than the oil. So the black has to be more than the white by the cows because that was the svar of the Mishnah that he could say I made a mistake and I also need to be makdish it also. That means ayin ra makdish. And you can't say that if he comes out of a white cow and is better, that he meant that also. The two are the kamanoi. I don't mean to say that always a black cow is less than a white cow. A certain kind of cow in a certain place, kamanoi, I don't know what it is, a certain kind of a cow, a certain type of cow, or a certain place, over there the black cows were deficient. But in general, I can agree that a black cow is better than a white cow, and the Mishnah reads good. So all the three cases, they're all going to be on a parallel that the black cow is more chashuv than the white cow, the gold is more than the silver, and wine is more than the oil.
It was only Rav Papa that says that.
No, we're
Like,
going, everything's going according to Abaye.
Right.
Papa, this is all according to Abaye. We have to say this pshatim because it's talking about what he meant, and it's called the Toos and Ayin Ra. According to Rav Papa, the pshat was what he meant to say. He meant to say nothing to do with the better or worse. No mistakes over there. It's just he's interpreting that I didn't mean the cow that comes out first. I meant the first black cow that comes out. Nothing to do with better or worse.
So what I mean, so he holds the Ayin Hara, or is he not dealing with that as much?
The Gemara says in the Mishnah, you see the Ayin Ra Makdish. According to Abaye's pshat, you see by Ayin Ra Makdish, and therefore, if he says that they told him that you had wrong information, you were under the wrong impression, you thought a certain thing came out, something else came out. So if it's less than the first one, so by Ayin Ra Makdish, you can say that's what I wanted to do also. The Gemara finishes off. You want to say something over there?
No, obvious question, how do we take the lessons from the limit from Kain heaven?
What I have to do kind of
That there's markish something that we learn there. Markish something we punish them.
no, what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. Here we're talking about what people do.
And with Rabbi is taking a position that basically the nature of per people is to have an Ayin Hara.
Ayin Ra Makdish. It could be that's a machlokes someplace over here, but here the Gemara says, but our Mishnah seems by Ayin Ra Makdish. The Gemara finishes off. Bonus. There are three kinds of cows. Ochma lemishrei, sumka lebisrei, chibur lebred. There are three kinds of cows. There's red cows, and there's black. Ochma is red, Ochma is black, sumka is red, chibur is white. So black cows are the best for its skin. If you want the hides, the black cows are the best quality. If you want meat, the red cows are the best. And if you want the oxen to plow, so then the white ones are the best. If Chris tells you about
What's Mishneh again?
Mishneh is its skin, its hides.
The black is
ore.
better for that.
The black cow is best for the skin, the red cow is best for its meat, and the white cow is best for its plowing. Rav Chisda himself, he said that a black cow is less than a white cow. If you say that a black cow sometimes has a mile also, it has the best skin. So you can't just say that it's bad. It's bad, depends what you want. Depends if you're in this business of the meat or in the business of the plowing or in the business of the skins, of the hides. Yamri b'tura the karmanoi. That's what the one said before, that if Chisda meant to say only by this karmanoi, over there the black is less than the white because over there it's deficient in everything. It's deficient even in the skin, but in the hides. But regularly, he agrees that the black one has a mila. And here it says that it depends for which thing you're looking for. Are you looking for the skin or the meat or the work? End of the Gemara. So,
okay, what's the two here? Ukmiya b'chivra. Those are two opposites.
that's what he said.
So
That a black cow amongst white cows is considered deficient.
Amongst one. That was the original statement of Papa, no?
Rav Chisda said,
Oh, he was the one who said that black cows are lakia.
Rav Chisda said that.
I see.
Okay, end of the sugya. So far, it's not too much to do with the zeros today. We'll get to it tomorrow. Here the Gemara spoke about hektish b'tos hektish. Our Gemara, the first pshat of the words sound hektish b'tos hektish, which is going to be relevant to tomorrow's Gemara about the zeros, and there is going to be Beferish B'Shami holds hektish b'tos hektish, and he is going to hold that there's no shalab in the zeros, but all that's for tomorrow. The Gemara didn't understand that our three cases of our Mishnah. The Gemara didn't understand. How do you have that? It should be a question of hektish b'tos. Over here, the Mishnah's case was that he didn't say it's makdish white cow. How could he say that he's going to be makdish it? So you have two pshatim in our Mishnah. One is has nothing to do with hektish b'tos. That was only a misunderstanding in Beis Shammai. He really meant to say that you were reinterpreting his words. That he said the black cow, that the first cow that comes out black, he meant the first black cow, but not that it has to be the first. And also all these cases of the gold and the case of the shemen, he didn't mean it has to come out first. He means the first of the other ones that are there, and it's nothing to do with hektish b'tos. And Rabbi said that it is talking about hektish b'tos, and the point is that he says that it doesn't make a difference to me which one came out. It came out for black or white. I meant the first cow that came out, and even if they tell him that it was a mistake, you thought you had a wrong impression. You thought it was a black. It was really a more deficient one. It was the white one. Also, I meant that also is fine, and that's called hektish b'tos. But Bisham holds that it's hektish, but still holds not. And they wanted at the end just went through this technicality, which one is better, which one is worse, the black or white. And Amish is mashma that the white one is more deficient, and that fits. We can say such a pshat, and just like the silver, the gold is better than the silver, the wine is better than the oil. So too, the black cow is better than the white, and vine ra hu makdish. And the last Gemara has told us about the nature of these three colored cows, that there's skin and there's meat and there's plowing, and the black cow is best for its skin, the red cow is best for its meat, and the white cow is best for its work, for its plowing. Just Krista said that in Tour de Carmenoi, in that kind of ox, so then even the black was not good, even it's not as good as a white cow even. Usually black cows are better than white cows,
Oh,
at
the
least in
skin.
something, the skin, and this one is not good
Not
for
even
that,
that.
not good for that either. That's the point. We finished the Gemara. That's today's Daf Yomi. That's the side point that people talk about the red heifer, the paraduma, and people think that the paraduma is like a fire engine red, or that, and that's like that's not. You have to have a nace. You get a paraduma, but it's not true. There is such a kind of a red cow, and here the Gemara talks about it. There's red and black and white, and something to show over here. Can I
Go ahead,
show?
Rebbe.
What is that?
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good to have
Okay.
seen you. Okay.
Thank you.
Let's-
Very helpful. Thank you.
Oh, well,
That's
thank
a
you.
little bit.
Yeah, red cows. And just downloaded over here, it talks about 15 red cows. Nothing to do with Jewish, not to do with paraduma. There are different kind of cows. And
That's in
look,
Afghanistan,
okay.
ibex, that's called.
There are many breeds of cattle resulting in different colors and patterns. One of the most gorgeous coat colors found in cattle is the red
Over
color.
here with the big horns, those,
Yeah,
for the cows.
It's
They
a
were-
cow. They're saying it's cows over here.
in
Those
Himalaya,
those could
Afghanistan.
be used for Boroduas?
Yeah, the point is only that it should be like not to have two hairs that are
Right,
discolored.
right.
But the fact that there's a red color, this is called the red cow. It's not called the out of heaven. Comes falls out of the moon to get a paraduma.
Right.
The point is that it should be.
I thought they were what they call those abajik, where there was a white person, they only have red thing.
Albanos.
Albanos. I thought it was albino cows. I thought that was the shot.
What do you mean albino?
Albinos that they didn't have
White.
pigments and they came out very white, red eyes, that.
Why are you saying white? Why are you saying white?
No,
Why
because
red?
there's you look at the albinos, and sometimes they have a very red,
Red one.
like a very reddish kind of.
These are regular cows. Regular cows. There's red cows, just like there's also red
I thought
horses.
they were albinos. I thought they had a red.
No, it's a normal thing. It's not considered a mum. Look at that.
Yeah, that's red. Wow.
There's such thing as a red cow. So people have a mistake. They think that red cow has to come out of heaven or something like that.
No.
White.
Is that showing up on the screen?
What? It's not showing up?
No.
Like-
Okay, let's try it again.
You're gonna move it. Well, the back's still there.
Okay, now it's on?
Want a hot chocolate?
No.
Still not?
I had two copies.
No.
Okay, but you could just look under red cows.
Okay.
My wife says-
Yeah, but the white face, he's finished.
Ah,
Brown
okay.
face, that's
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah,
You
yeah,
have
like
to
a
be
sheep.
all- you have to be all red. 100%
Okay,
red.
but that's to point out that there's such thing called a red cow.
Wow.
You found these
Okay.
all over the place, right?
I just looked on the red cows. I just want to see
you
red
got a whole
cows.
bunch.
Okay,
Okay, but.
let's go, everybody. Thank you.
Gotta come up soon.